Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. This is Monfi channel, and in this video I want to talk about the vehicle anatomy of all the vehicle. It will be the same. So in here, first of all, let's start with the chassis. We have full underbody frames. We have ladder frame, backbone tube, X frame, premier frame. Like for example, premier frame is for the bike, but all of the frame types and the chassis types I wrote for you. Then we have platform frame, space frame, and unibody. If your vehicle is, for example, if it's like a Mustang for the racing, or if it's SUV or it's sedan, so for sure the length, the size, and maybe the shape and also the structure of your chassis and the frame will be different. So it depends exactly which type of the vehicle you are using it. Then we have monocoque frame. I didn't wrote in there, but the monocoque frame is like the most popular one frame of the vehicles, especially in the SUV and in the sedan. So we have powertrain. Powertrain, it will start from the engine. It's the source of producing power in the internal combustion engine. Then after that, we have powertrain. It's a torque converter. For example, if it has the automatic gearbox or DSG, DCT, SMG, like those gearboxes, so you have the torque converter. But if you have the manual gearbox, like synchronous mesh gearbox, in that moment you have clutch simply. So in that moment you don't have the torque converter. Then the power goes to the transmission, or it goes to the gearboxes. Then from the gearboxes it goes to the transaxle. If your vehicle it's a front wheel, then for sure the power will go to the transaxle. But if your vehicle it's a real wheel, so what will happen? The power produced from the engine goes to the torque converter, then the gearbox, then U joint transfer the power to the differential, then differential it will transfer power to the axle to the wheels. So it's the powertrain of all of the vehicles. So now let's see the other components of the engine and then the general vehicle anatomy. So we have a spark plug in here, which it's producing the jerk, and in 4-stroke or 2-stroke it doesn't matter. Then we have the coils, which is producing the electricity. It has a primary side also. An ignition coil is used in the ignition system of a spark ignition engine to transfer the battery voltage to the much higher voltage required to operate the spark plugs. The spark plugs then use these bursts of high voltage electricity to ignite the air and fuel mixture. So in here we had a spark plug. Okay, a spark plug in the combustion chamber. By producing the jerk, it will ignite and send the piston down towards down, and in that moment the power will produce. Then we have electrical system of the vehicle, which is contains the voltage regulator and battery terminal, battery wire, storage battery, starter, generator belt, and the wiring. Then for sure there is engine. So its engine is not including of the electrical system, just as a showing the place of the component properly. We kept a little bit more components. The blue ones, it's consists of the electrical system of your vehicles. So when your engine is running, in that moment the generator charging your battery. But when your engine is off, in that moment you can like for example you can use audio, or you can open the light uh, using the windows. Okay, all of those through the battery. Even when you are when you want to open the engine starter motor using the battery, using the voltage from the battery, in that moment, yes, this battery 12-volt battery we are using. But when the engine is open, when engine is on and started, in that moment we are using the generator, the voltage amperage of the generator. So it's the brain of your vehicles, which is engine control unit and ECU, all the different modules connected to the ECU, the sensors and everything. So it's the brain of your vehicle. Then we have fuse boxes. It's the central hub for distribution power and protecting vehicles' electrical components. The fuse box. It depends. Some vehicles has a one fuse box, two, three, or maybe six, like a Mercedes. It has a six fuse box, but it depends actually how much the vehicle. It's like near to the luxury side, okay, and then you have more fuse boxes, more electrical system, and more modules. So those vehicles are more complex. The alternator, or like the generator that I explained about it, that when the vehicle is open we are using the voltage and the power of the amperage of the alternator, not the battery, when the engine is on. We have brake system, retracting spring there is, and it's a piston, it has a piston. When you press the brake pedal you have a pivot point, then it push the piston. If it's hydraulic it's different, or nowadays we have electric types also. Those the combination of those type will be different, but almost will be the same structure. There is no any that much different, almost like 50 or 60%, maybe more. It will be the same because the structure is the same, but the component a little bit will be different. In here we have exhaust system. As you can see it will start from the exhaust manifold, okay. Then we have a flange, catalytic converter, and exhaust pipe, clamp is connected actually to the body or to the chassis, like that. Then we have the tail pump. We have AC components. There is a gas, so actually it will start from the compressor, it goes to the condenser and fan, then accumulator, expansion valve, and evaporator and blower. Then we have radiator. It has a inlet tank, and at the downside there is outlet tank, okay. Then we have ring gasket, radiator core. It's what is the duty of the radiator? It's reducing the temperature of the water, which is goes, not water, the coolant. Actually, if you say the coolant will be much more better, because if we use the coolant, okay, it's better for the coolant circling inside the engine, and it will avoid from the rust and dust and many other things. Then we have oil cooler, which is reduce the temperature of the oil. But this option all of the vehicle they doesn't have. Mostly when the vehicle has like a turbocharger or supercharger, or if it's have a heavy engine, muscle engine, in those vehicles they are using the oil cooler. We have water pump, which pressurize the water or the coolant. It pressurizes the coolant and it goes inside the engine water jacket. It's a special ways of the engine that the coolant goes, absorbs heat, goes to the radiator, release those heat, and those heat are going to the atmosphere. Then again the water or the coolant comes to the water pump and again pressurize, and this circulator each second it's happening to maintain the engine temperature. Then we have the oil pump. Oil pump also same. It absorbs heat, absorbs the oil, pressurizes the oil, and goes to the engine, absorbs heat, again come back. And this circulation, same the water coolant or water pump, it's doing same job we have for the oil. Then we have the fuel rail. As you can see, the fuel comes from the tank and pressurized by the pump, comes to the fuel rail, then it will sprays by the injector to the combustion chamber, but it goes through intake manifold. And then we have a fuel tank, as I said. So what is the component inside the fuel tank? We have fuel level sensor, air refreshing tube, fuel level indicator float, and like fuel neck, tank walls, filter and drain. In here we have canister, usually located in the engine component. It contains activated charcoal. The charcoal absorbs or traps vapors from a vehicle sealed fuel system, but when the engine is off. Then as you can see, we have the fuel filter. It's three type of them. The left one is the brand new one. The second one is like you using it, and the third one is totally damaged and you have to change it. You have intake manifold. Ensure the air is coming to the engine properly distributed to all the cylinders. Actually, if you like tuning the intake manifold, you can produce much more power. And also if you put and if you connect the intercooler exhaust manifold that I talked about it, but again it's okay. Exhaust manifold acts as a funnel and it is used to collect all of the emissions of combustion chamber.